Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Hope you're all doing well. I'm here to talk about some gummy bears. I ruthlessly drowned some last night and we're going to look at that. Basically, it's showing the principle of osmosis. So what I used was, of course, gummy bears. Just regular, off-brand, nothing special. Had some plastic cups and some table salt. So what I did was filled each of these cups about half full with tap water. And then to one of them, I added salt basically until no more would dissolve and just totally saturated that solution. Then I picked a gummy bear for each cup and let them set overnight. I was originally going to start with just about 6 hours, but at the 6 hour mark, there wasn't a huge amount of change, so I opted to leave them overnight to see what happened. And I'm glad that I did, because one of these guys is kind of impressive. So I hypothesized that the gummy bear that was in the tap water solution was going to expand because of the higher concentration of sugar. And tap water doesn't really have much in that. So it's higher concentrated inside the gummy bear. And gummy bears are made up of just sugar and gelatin is just made of collagen and water, but when that cools, it just locks the water molecules in there, so there really isn't enough water to note in a gummy bear. So, and then I anticipated the gummy bear in the salt solution would actually shrink mildly. Whatever moisture was actually in that gummy bear, I thought would probably come out to that really high area of concentration with the salt. And it worked out very well, and my hypothesis was correct. So these are the gummy bears. This little guy is just a normal, unaltered gummy bear. I actually put 2 in the salt solution. One extra just fell in and I just left him. And they did shrink mildly as compared to the regular. And then this big guy was in the tap water solution, and he's about 4 or 5 times a normal gummy bear and just very gelatinous and goopy. And I was actually very glad that I decided to leave them overnight, because when I went to bed last night, he was only about half this size. So it was fun to see the change there. Weren't really any factors that didn't go as planned in this experiment, which was good, because I was worried that maybe because I'm in the deep south that the water has random amounts of sugar in it like everything else down here, but clearly not. And I actually had a lot of fun when I was doing this. I was singing the Bill Nye Science Guy theme song because science, and I'm old and that was like my favorite show. So the process of osmosis is actually applicable in a lot of things. I work in the medical field, so it's used very commonly there, this application. Most commonly, probably in IV fluids, we try to use isotonic solutions for our IV fluids, which have about the same concentration as human blood. That way we're not making cells blow up and explode or shrivel up. We would use hypertonic solutions in the case of electrolyte imbalances and hypotonic solutions in the cases of cellular dehydration to help kind of plump these cells up with some more fluids. But when we are using these hypertonic and hypotonic solutions, have to be very careful, really monitor these patients, because you can have some bad effects if you give too much of a solution that's either too concentrated or not concentrated enough. It's also useful in dialysis for renal failure patients. So the dialysis machine, you would have a very, very concentrated dialysate solution, a membrane that's only going to let waste particles come through. So when it goes through the patient's body, it's going to pull those waste products out through that small membrane and dispose of those the way that their kidneys typically would do, but no longer function to do. And then in other applications, probably more commonly known, would be in like food storage. For thousands of years, people have used salt and even sugar for curing meats, to help pull the moisture out of meats so that they won't spoil and those can be preserved and kept for longer periods of time. But I had a lot of fun doing this. I hope you guys did too. Hope this video wasn't too boring for you, and I look forward to doing some more experiments.